Hey, Jim Talent, everybody. Good morning this morning, Jim Talent. So, Jim, your name has been bandied about as the possible next Secretary of Defense. I realize Jeff Sessions is being talked about as well, but nonetheless, have you been talked to by the Trump campaign about this?
I haven't heard anything from them since the election. Of course, it's early days. Look, I said in a column that the president-elect has an outstanding defense plan, and I'm going to support it strongly, whether in government or out of government. I think it's the most important thing he could do to restore our national security. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to him taking over and pushing that, and I'm going to continue working for it one way or the other. But it's flattering that evidently somebody is thinking about me, because I have seen some of these stories, and I've had some friends calling me and asking me what's up, and I just think, we have to give them a little time. They don't have a lot of time, but we have to give them a little time because, like yesterday, I'm sure they were all just trying to catch up on their sleep, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. Well, except for Trump, who doesn't sleep.
Yeah, except for him. I mean, some people only need 4 or 5 hours. That's a tremendous asset when you're president, by the way, if you don't need much sleep. But
it's a good asset when you're a morning show host, too.
Has to catch up on the day after. And it was particularly when something was as cataclysmic politically as that was. I was thinking that night of the song they played, music they played after the Battle of Yorktown. The world turned upside down after the British surrendered, and that's what happened on Tuesday night.
Boy, I'd say. And I was just talking about the Union folks. I mean, here's what happened, and this is why the Republicans who pretended they were the big tent guys, they really weren't. And I do believe that Donald Trump truly created a bigger tent, and had it not been for non-traditional Republican voters, I'm not quite sure he would have pulled this off.
Oh, I don't think he would have. And I think the key from a political standpoint now is an honest and way is to solidify what is now a broader coalition. So you don't do that by pandering, but you do that by following through on what you've promised and being upfront with people, which I think people are hungering for, and respecting people. When all the years I ran, Jamie, you have to keep in mind that the people you're talking to, the voters, are the ultimate boss. And who calls their boss a basket of deplorables?
Yeah, I mean, right.
You can disagree with voters. You can say, look, I understand the sentiment behind what you're saying, but here's why I think this is a better way to achieve that. But you don't make fun of the people who are the boss. And that's what she did over and over again. And we're seeing it on the left now. I mean, just Google HuffPo, and if you ever do, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's interesting how Donald Trump performed so well among a lot of different voting subgroups, minority groups, those kinds of things than normal Republicans have in the past. I found that interesting, considering how much time was spent trying to call him the guy who was the racist or the jerk or the this or the that, or the bully. They call him the bully, and you've got Hillary Clinton bullying people from her pulpit on a regular basis, calling us dangerous and everything else. So I didn't understand how this narrative worked, because it didn't seem to reflect the truth. Well, and I was reading an article this morning. Now, I caution everybody, because they're not going to have really reliable statistics for some time. But I read an article this morning that said that Trump outperformed it on among Hispanics and African Americans, so there. I mean, that right away tells you something, right? And despite the media attack on him, I mean, if he'd gotten a reasonably balanced coverage, I think he'd have run even stronger. So there's tremendous potential here. The president-elect gave a really good speech on Tuesday night. Now they have to produce. And this is what I'm telling people, Jamie. A friend of mine got elected to Congress in a different state, and a young guy, and he called me up, and I said, the message I'd send to the conference, he's part of the Republican conference now, the members, and
is look, we have to produce. They expect us to produce. We have to produce. I've been reading about what McConnell's going to do on the filibuster, and I think that's a key thing. If they're going to play this obstructionist game totally, I think Mitch's going to have to do something, because we've got to have an opportunity at least to vote on these measures in both houses, and they need to produce. And I think Trump will. I think he'll do the executive. He'll repeal a lot of Obama's executive orders right away, and then they have to follow through in other areas. Yeah,
no doubt about it. And so, is there an undersecretary of defense too?
Oh yeah, there's 6 of them.
Really?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Well, the department is so big that they have more than the normal share of political appointees. But really, what you have to do if you run that department, the top level uniforms. I mean, I've always been a believer in this. If you make clear what your priorities are, and I'm saying this about anybody, I've talked to secretaries over the years. You make clear what your priorities are and how you want them to implement it, and they will salute and go along. As a matter of fact, my concern over the years has been they haven't been independent enough. I mean, I've urged them that when they get asked a question at a hearing or something, I said, they want your opinion, tell them.
All right, so yes or no, would you accept any one of those 6 positions?
Jamie, I don't want to preempt their opportunity to pick who they want, but I would be very interested and will support the president-elect's defense plan in or out of government. I mean, there's nothing more important we can do, and I'm going to do everything I can to help them, no matter what capacity they decide to fit me in.
And Jim Talent, thank you so much for being a true voice of reason in the Republican Party throughout this entire process, man. It's been an honor having you on, and looking forward to the coming year with you as well. At Jim Talent, AEI.
And you know what, man? You're a voice of reason, too, most of the time.
All right, brother. Thank you for that endorsement, my friend, from Jim Talent.